all you need to know. The Bloomberg Quint podcast that prepares you for the day's business. Good morning. You're listening to the Daily Morning Update from Bloomberg Quint, and I'm Alex Matthew. Today is the 30th of January. Let's talk about the top international news. The Federal Reserve has kept its key interest rate unchanged and continued to signal policy would stay on hold for the time being as the US enters a presidential election year. But Fed Chairman Jerome Powell isn't satisfied with inflation running persistently below 2%. The central bank also made a technical adjustment to the rate it pays on reserve balances and said it would extend a program aimed at smoothing volatility in money markets at least through April. Policymakers also changed their language to say that the current stance of monetary policy is appropriate to support inflation returning to the committee's symmetric 2% objective. In international commodities, crude oil declined as U.S. crude inventories rose by the most since November, raising concerns about oversupply, particularly when global demand is seen under threat because of the Chinese coronavirus. The Energy Information Administration reported that American crude stockpiles rose by 3.5 million barrels, more than analysts had anticipated. Petrol supplies reached a record high as well. The rise in inventory overshadowed growing tensions in the Middle East after an attack on Saudi Aramco's Jazan plant by Yemen's Houthi rebels sparked a brief rally in the price. Brent crude stood at just over $58.5 to the barrel last I checked. And speaking of the coronavirus, the World Health Organization has called a meeting of its emergency committee today to consider issuing a global alarm as China announced more deaths from the spreading disease. China's Hubei province, which is believed to be the epicenter of the disease, reported 37 additional deaths from the coronavirus yesterday, bringing total nationwide fatalities to at least 169. There have now been more than 6,000 cases reported for mainland China. The European Parliament has approved Prime Minister Boris Johnson's Brexit deal, clearing the way for the UK to leave the European Union on the 31st of January with an agreement that for the time being will avoid a chaotic rupture. Over the next 11 months, the UK and the European Union will argue over the terms of their future relationship, which could be even tougher than the negotiations that began after Britain voted to leave in June 2016. In news back home, a majority of Interglobe Aviation's shareholders voted against a proposal to amend the Articles of Association of the company that would have allowed the promoters to buy or sell stake in India's largest airline. In case you're not familiar with the background, Rakesh Gangwal, the co-founder of Interglobe Aviation, had called the Indigo EGM to scrap provisions that require the airline's controlling shareholders to seek permission from each other for buying or selling shares. The Reserve Bank of India has imposed a penalty of 1 crore rupees on HDFC Bank for non-compliance with Know Your Customer norms. The RBI in a release said that supervisory evaluation of the bank in 2016-17 revealed that the bank had failed to exercise ongoing due diligence with regards to 39 current accounts opened by its customers for bidding in initial public offers. The Information Technology Ministry has proposed that significant social media companies should maintain a database of active mobile numbers of all their users for verification purposes under a revised set of rules. That's a PTI report. In international markets, US stocks ended practically unchanged, but the Dow and the Nasdaq eked out very minor gains. The S&P 500 ended about 0.1% in the red. And the early risers in Asia have begun the session in the red. The Nikkei 225 was losing about 0.8% last I checked. And with that, it's over to Darshan Mehta for the trade setup for the day in India. Good morning, Darshan. How are we looking today?
Hi Alex, good morning everyone. Even though the global cues, at least from the US and European markets, did well, Asia has started with a negative bias. The SGX Nifty is also down in trade. So in terms of earnings today, there is Bajaj Auto, Bharti Infratel, Indian Oil Corporation and Tata Motors. Among the other numbers, there is Colgate, JK Tyres, Marico, Dabur, Blue Star, Bharat Electronics, Amber Enterprises, Equitas, Force Motors, Laurus Labs, LIC Housing, Moil, MCX and Persistent Systems. Among the results announced after market hours, strong numbers from Bajaj Finserv, and that was led by the performance of Bajaj Finance. The revenues was up 31%, profit up 32%. General insurance net income was down 15%, and the life insurance net income was up 28%. Tata Power results were below estimates. Deferred tax reversal aided the profits, which was up 26%, but apart from it, revenues was down 11%, EBITDA was down 4%. Losses in Mundra and lower demand and lower FOB coal prices dragged the top line numbers, and reduction in coal fuel due to amnesty scheme aided the margins a little bit. Very strong set of numbers from Pidilite, revenues up 4%, EBITDA up 35%, and profit up 56%. Consumer and Bazaar segment revenues was up 4%. The industrial product segment was up 10%. Drop in raw material cost, lower VAM as well as crude oil prices aided the margin expansion. The overall volume growth was good at 13%. CG Consumer results were in line with estimates. The revenues was up 4%, EBITDA up 8%, profit doubled. The ECD segment revenues up 11% on the strong performance of fan, domestic pumps and appliances. Lighting product revenues was down 11% on price erosion, and profit rose as the company had written back and tax of an earlier assessment order. Quest Corp revenues up 35%, EBITDA up 51%, profit up 15%. The margin expansion was due to lower expenses and Ind AS impact. IDFC First Bank, very weak set of numbers. It's the fifth straight quarter of losses that they have reported, and the core operating loss also was there in the third quarter, and that was because of higher underlying credit cost. The loss was due to a one-off provision for telecom and infra accounts, but overall the asset quality seems to be under stress. Some of the other stocks to watch out for: Interglobe Aviation, in which the shareholders voted against co-founder Rakesh Gangwal's proposal to ease rules on selling stake in the company. The special resolution in the EGM received 51.4% vote opposing it. Hindustan Aeronautics, in which the government is looking to sell up to 15% stake in the company via an OFS. Make Money Organics probably will be important. They have decided to restructure the business by demerger of its agrochemical and pigment business into a wholly owned arm, Make Money Organochem, and this company will be listed through a mirror shareholding. MOIL has received the environmental clearance for enhancement of the production capacity from 90,000 TPA to 2 lakh TPA. Himadri Special Chemical has commenced operation of the proposed expansion of 6,000 MTPA production plant at West Bengal, which makes carbon black. CCL Products, there was a big block deal yesterday. Small Cap World sold in 65 lakh shares, among which Norges Bank acquired 20 lakh shares. And finally, in brokerages, Goldman has initiated on Oberoi Realty with a target price of 652 and Phoenix Mill with a target price of 1,000. UBS has cut IndusInd target to 1150, and they have cut Yes Bank's target to 20, which probably is the lowest in the street currently. But there's much more you need to know before trade actually starts. For that, log on to our website bloombergquint.com and click on the All You Need to Know tab, and you'll be prepared for morning trade.
Thanks, Darshan. And as always, thank you all for listening in. This is Alex Matthews signing off. Have a great day.
I hope you enjoyed listening to All You Need to Know. Did you know that you can listen to the show on the IVM Podcast app? On the IVM Podcast app, along with this, we have a number of other shows which you think you'll enjoy. Listen to Cyrus Says with Cyrus Brocha as the host. Listen to Pesa Vesa with Anupam Gupta. The Scene and the Unseen with Amit Verma. Or Shunya One hosted by Shiladitya Mukhopadhyay and myself. Check out the IVM Podcast app to get more talk content that you will enjoy.